Hello and welcome. I'm Master Lama Rasaji, and this is our Tuesday episode of Rasaji Speaks. Good that you could be with us today. What is our title of today's lesson? Karmic consequences. Karmic consequences. Today we're going to kind of focus on John the Baptist's beheading, right? Well, if you remember, during the time that John was beheading, a lot of people were showing up into the River Jordan. Yesterday, the Catholic Church celebrated the baptismal of Jesus in the River Jordan with John the Baptist. So you remember that people would show up, third-party authorities, people from the Pharisees, the Sanhedrin, some of the legionnaires of Rome would show up from time to time. What was this guy up to? That was in like some old deerskin, a rugged kind of coat, right? Loincloth, leather belt around himself, eating locusts and honey and, raggedy and stuff. Jesus made reference to John the Baptist. He said, John the Baptist, fewer are those in the kingdom of heaven, greater than John the Baptist. He came drinking and not eating and not dressing the way people, and you would call him the devil. The Son of Man came eating and drinking, dressed in an attire you could handle, and you would make him your king. Talking about the polar opposite of what they did. That being said, even early on, Nicodemus and Joseph of Arimathea were also part of his audience from afar. During the early time of John being in prison, Nicodemus actually paid John a visit and said, "Who are you?" Trying to tie John was a prophet. Maybe he was the coming Messiah. John made it clear to Nicodemus that he, like Moses, just talked about one of Moses' lines in the Old Testament where he says, I'm just one crying in the wilderness. Then he said, make ye way for the kingdom of heaven. All the time talking about repenting and everything. But it was clear for those who have studied with the Circle of Chief for any given time, if you read Kings 1 and if you read Kings 2, and you understand the powers that were bestowed upon Elijah, and you understand the connection between Elijah and his protege, Elisha, then you would definitely understand the connection. But you would also understand the karmic sin that Elijah caused when he called down the fires of heaven. And he kind of went nutso with it. I mean, he definitely was obsessive with it. He'd gotten so tired of no one doing anything with the priest of Baal, the priest of Satan, and the demonic things that were being done. Kind of reminds you today, right? What's happening at the southern border, what's happening at the injustice that's going on during the election, already the election interferences. You can see it all happening all over again. It's their version of the Big C that happened in 2020. Talking about deja vu, it's their version of the big C because they couldn't resurrect the big C to start with because everybody knew what they were up to. Here we go again, right? Here we go again. It's their version of that. But John, being the enlightened one that he was, being the incarnation of Elijah, when Jesus does the Mount Transfiguration, he's tying that knot up even more so for Andrew, Peter, John the Beloved, and James to bear witness that Moses is there, the law, the antediluvian patriarch, Elijah that continued on through his cousin, right? And then here he was, the law, the way, and the prophecy manifestation. What he did show is that no one is beyond the law unless something greatly changes within that being. So when the fires of heaven were called down, there was collateral damage that happened. And innocent women and children, even though they were intrigued by the priest of Baal, if you remember, they were manifesting magician type things that you saw Moses doing to the Pharaoh to let the out. You remember the priests that served Ramses? They were black magicians. Remember Moses' snake swallowing up their snake? Even with that in place, right? Even with that in place, the priest of Baal during that time. See, I see people now sometimes they want to take law into their own hands because of the injustices that are going on. But you really got to know that the divine is in control, always in control. Nobody's asking why the divine is allowing to happen now what is happening. I guarantee you it's not happening without a reason. And Abba, too, even though we don't always know his infinite plan, there's a reason. But when Elijah got tired of it, he says, I'm going to take the law into my own hand. And that's where he stepped across the line, right? To have destroyed the priest of Baal, he was getting from Abba that he was going to be the instrument for that karmatic justice. But he wasn't going to be it with all the gusto that Elijah had. For that price, John the Baptist plays that karmatic consequences that he paid in that incarnation by being beheaded, cut right off at the power center of the throat itself. Pretty profound when you think about it. Just remember, always keep ego at bay, and always not only allow Abba to use you as a vehicle for light and justice, but to the degree that he is sharing with you to do so. This is why the concept of Viragi detachment is so important. Sometimes the very detachment, we have to detach from the ego mind, especially when justice is being administered through you from the divine. See you tomorrow. Baraka Bashai. May the blessings be to you and to your glorious family. We'll see you tomorrow on the Wednesday's edition of Rasaji Speaks. God bless to you and all your family. See you tomorrow.